Hello everyone. Today, I want to talk about the construction ideas for Blue World City. Pakistan is now in the best period of its international political environment, and it's also a golden age for its development. Especially the China-Pakistan relationship, it has entered a brand new stage of development. We did a simple comparison. The data on Pakistan, whether it's GDP, per capita GDP, or urbanization rate, is very similar to China's situation when it first started the reform and opening up. This means Pakistan is about to step into a track of rapid development. Blue World City was born in this context, so it must take on a special historical mission. What exactly is this mission? It makes me think of China's Shenzhen Special Economic Zone. I want to talk in detail about Shenzhen's development process. We need to figure out the secrets of its success and see what inspirations it can bring to us. Shenzhen's development has 3 stages, starting up at the beginning, then transforming, and later moving towards high-quality development. Among these, the first 20 years are the most worth our analysis, because Shenzhen's starting situation back then is very similar to ours now. In 1980, Shenzhen only had 2 main roads and 1 water plant. At that time, there was no unified national spatial planning. But Shenzhen took the lead in setting its own standards. It managed ecological spaces, transportation and municipal corridors, and land use, all to prevent individual projects from damaging the city's overall value. Later, Shenzhen set up a 3-level planning management system: master plan, district plan, detailed plan. This was the first of its kind in China back then. What's more, there were corresponding government departments to carry out the plan, making sure it could really be put into practice. Based on this, Shenzhen made its first version of the master plan. It clearly defined the development goals, direction, scale, and urban functional layout. Interestingly, Shenzhen initially took a strip cluster development path. It used 3 east-west main traffic arteries to connect several areas together, just like stringing a necklace. Between each cluster, there were green spaces, so the ecological environment was good. This cluster-based planning also made it easier to push forward construction step by step later. At that time, Shenzhen marked 8 key areas and gave priority to their rolling development. The principle was, plan 1 area, build 1 area, mature 1 area. In the second stage, Shenzhen began to expand and transform in an all-round way. First, it made the second version of the master plan. It took the previous 8 key areas as the core to drive the development of the whole city. More importantly, it laid out 17 high-tech industrial zones in the surrounding areas. Its industries shifted from clothing, textiles, and furniture manufacturing to biotechnology, the internet, and new energy. This step also nurtured competitive enterprises like Huawei, Tencent, and BYD. Because of the earlier control, the land price in the central area had risen a lot by this time. The city also needed industries like finance and accounting to support its development. So in the second stage, Shenzhen completed the construction of the urban central area and realized the transformation of urban space and industrial structure. In the third stage, Shenzhen began to move towards becoming an international metropolis. A series of important infrastructure were upgraded, such as international airports, railway stations, and ports. At the same time, by building key areas like Qianhai Center, Super Headquarters Base, and Marine Industry New City, Shenzhen started to take part in global industrial competition. Over 45 years, the land value of Shenzhen has increased greatly. For example, the price of residential land has risen to 310 times its original value. Returning to BWC, our answer has become clear. The Blue World City is by no means an ordinary area. It is a model cooperation zone showcasing China-Pakistan friendship, a future exemplary city symbolizing Pakistan's soaring eagle, a super metropolis for over 5 million people, and an ideal city that the youth aspire to. Facing such an important historical mission, we may encounter a series of challenges, such as, in planning, how to determine the standards for new city construction, how to define the city's positioning, how to construct the overall spatial framework of the city, how to coordinate development resources and create scarcity. In construction, what industries should be developed? How to develop in an orderly manner? Where will the momentum for recent development come from? Which areas should be developed first? What is the feasibility? In management and operation, how to raise more construction funds? What should be done at each stage? How to balance input and output. There is much work to be done in the future, including business format and industrial development planning, feasibility analysis, etc. Finally, we hope this special new city will have its own planning and construction standards, further raising the level beyond the national standards. At the same time, a digital urban management platform will allow us to manage the entire city through one smart map, greatly improving management standards and efficiency. Now, in the initial stage, is the best time to establish this digital platform. As the famous Pakistani poet Muhammad Iqbal said, Islam is not a memory, but an eternal movement, and the Blue World City is precisely the embodiment of this verse. We look forward to the Blue World City forging its own miraculous path. That is my sharing for today. Thank you.